All right. Let's see. Can you see my screen now? I believe you can hear me. I can see technology is telling me that I have audio. All right. Good evening, everyone. Outstanding, outstanding. So we are here. You can hear me. Yes, thank you, Victor. Good morning, good evening. What part of this beautiful country or this world are you dialing in from, Victor? Seeing a few more people come in and out as I was actually closing and reopening the application to get my screen to show. Florida, outstanding. Outstanding. So let's see if we get them back in. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to respect your time. You're here, you're on time. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. Actually being here with me tonight. You know, I'm going to discover and master the 4 daily habits of super achievers. This is something that I've been after for a very long time, trying to figure it out. And, you know, somebody else did that for me already. So pretty much I'm just going to piggyback on what I've learned from a lot of them. I've actually applied a lot of these in my own life, and I'm seeing tremendous changes and results physically, mentally, and spiritually as well. So the first thing that I'm going to ask, you know, from everybody, you know, is just to go ahead and kill everything. Kill your cell phones, kill your email, close it. You know, don't just lower the volume and put it on vibrate or anything. No, absolutely, completely turn it off if you can. Actually, I want you to, and you're going to understand why here in just a little bit. It's very, very important to do this. We're actually recording this, so this is going to be available to you later on again. All right, so now that we know where some of you are from, you know, I'm from beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. You know, I get to cross this beautiful bridge to one of the superstructures and number 10 in the world in engineering feats. This is the Skyway Bridge that connects, you know, the south part of St. Petersburg, Pinellas County with Manatee County, and it's an absolute treat to get to cross this thing a couple of times a week. I get to see dolphins and, you know, beautiful scenery in the mornings and in the evenings. And I tell you, sometimes I even get off on the south side, and I got some training videos that I've done for one of my niches, and I love to have, you know, this bridge on the background as actually as I'm shooting. Okay, so I just want to share, you know, with you a couple of things that are very important in my life. You know, on the left here, you get to see my beautiful wife and my daughter. They are the reason why I do the things that I do. And you also get to see 2 other principals in our home. And, you know, I want to share more about them and their specificity and why they do exist in this home. And when we get into the mastermind groups, and I'll tell you what, it has to do with 2 things. It has to do with incomes and taxes. So I learned a long time ago that there are 2 systems. There are 2 income systems and there are 2 tax systems. And I plan not to play in one, and I do play in the other one. And that's why these 2 animals exist. But, you know, and they actually work in both of those realms. But we'll get into a lot more detail about that, a lot more detail into that when we get into the masterminds. All right. So now my goal today is to dispel the myth of super achievers. What is it that they do and what is it that they don't do? Most people have a very wrong misconception of what is the super achievers actually get to do on a daily basis. I've interviewed, you know, I want to say many of them. I've interviewed some very impressive ones, and we'll discuss about them here in a little bit. But the things that I've learned from them are so impactful and so important that they've actually changed my life. Okay? Now, multitasking makes you dumber than being stoned. I'm not the one who's saying this. A couple of people, you know, have challenged this thought. Studies, there's also studies and universities have been done. I did not put them on here. Studies in the New York Times, CNN. Here we got Inc. and the Sydney Morning Herald. And why is it? You know, because the human brain, our brain is not capable of 2 cognitive processes. We're not a computer. Now, we're very good at switching. Okay, so multitasking, you know, as people say, well, multitasking, no, you're switching between one task and another. Okay, and you know, they're saying that when you're stoned, your IQ drops by 5 points. Now, when you try to multitask, your IQ actually drops by 10 points. So, you know, what's what's easier, to be in business? Would you rather do business with somebody that's stoned or somebody that is not? That's what you want to ask and demand, that people give you 100% of their attention when you're talking to them. Be present in the moment when you're talking to somebody. So, because, here's a prime example. Let me ask you, have you ever been talking to someone, okay, and immediately you realize that they're doing something else, so they're not paying attention to you when you ask them a question? Or maybe your name gets mentioned on the conference call, and when you're reading an email, all of a sudden, you lost track of that conversation. Or you start to read an email while talking to someone, and you notice, yourself drifting off. Go ahead and, pipe in on the chat and let me know what are some of the things that you have noticed in the past when someone has been doing something else other than paying attention to you. Go ahead and give me some feedback. Okay, let's make this a little bit more and a little bit interactive, and let's chat. Because I know it's happened to you. And it's happened to me sometimes. I'm talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I look over to the side in my other monitor, an email came in, and I started reading it, and then I realized that I lost a little bit of my train of thought on the conversation that I was having. So now, as a force of habit, one thing that I do, I have my scheduled calls, and I close my screens. I minimize them all completely. I use, there's a little couple keystrokes on the Windows. I'm not familiar with the Mac, but, a little flag on the keyboard and the letter M at the same time, and everything minimizes on your screen, and now that person has my complete and total attention while we are having a conversation. I do it when I do my coaching calls, normally on Saturdays, after my bike rides, early in the morning. And one of the things that I do is, I close everything. I just have a pen and paper and the phone in front of me, and we have complete, attention span. So, for today, remember, kill your cell phones, kill your emails. If you want to be successful in business, is one of the things that you want to do. Now, one of the things that I learned a long time ago from Napoleon Hill, he was a mountain reporter with the Weiss County, in Weiss County, Virginia. Actually, he was a reporter for the Mountain Reporter in Weiss County, Virginia, and he was interviewing successful people. And one of the people that he was, that kind of went a little fast, that he was going to be interviewing was Andrew Carnegie, because it was kind of like, he was like the Robert Leach of his time, interviewing successful people. And he went there for a 20-minute session. And Andrew Carnegie was so impressed with this young man that, that 20-minute session actually went into over 2.5 hours. And he commissioned Napoleon Hill, and he asked him, listen, if I open my black book with the names of my people, would you take it upon yourself to find out what is it that makes people successful? And he took it, and he said, yeah, he accepted it. Now, it took him 20 years to do the research, but he had a letter to go, from Andrew Carnegie to go see Henry Ford, and Henry Ford, granted him an interview, and then that sent him through a whole path. And then there's a book that we all know called Think and Grow Rich, even though it was preceded, that took over 21 years to write, but it was preceded in 1928 with the book The Law of Success. But because it was the law of success, people were not reading it until it came out, with a new title in 1937, Think and Grow Rich. So this is something that started in 1908 when he had his first meeting with Andrew Carnegie, and it went through until 1937, until he finally was able to get a book that people had a title. So, there's no secret out there that's been hidden for over 2,000 years that is finally available to people. And, so because it isn't, so what happened was that Napoleon Hill had the ability to sit down with Henry Ford, John Rockefeller, Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, Harvey Samuel Firestone, Wrigley from the chewing gums, and all these families, and he was able to ask them. Now, these people had amassed such great wealth. I mean, it was said that Rockefeller, that had right now 1.3 times what Bill Gates has today, in yesterday's dollars. So, it's a great amount. So, what would you have done if you have had the opportunity? And I want you to think about this. If you had the opportunity to sit down and ask this wealthy entrepreneurs, this wealthy business people, extremely wealthy business people, and compared to some of the people today, so Richard Branson, for an example, Bill Gates, Carlos Slim, if you had the ability to sit down for them with 30 minutes, what were the questions that you would ask them? What would you ask them? You know, I mean, what would you do? What would be your first question? What would be your follow-up question? Would you only have one question and follow up on that one? Okay, so, you know, what would you have asked them? You know, that's the question. You know, would you ask them about their ideas? Would you ask them about their behaviors? Would you have asked them about their mindsets, their attitudes? What were their strategies? You know, I mean, so what would you ask them? The one thing that was key, very, very self-evident, and we alluded to a little bit earlier, is that the number fourth habit in the fourth habits of superachievers is not multitasking. You know, and I'm going to prove this to you here in just a second, because, you know, it's very, very important that we understand this. Focus is something that we all must have. Sir Richard Branson was interviewed in Success Magazine by Darren Hardy, and one of Darren Hardy's clients, who was responsible for over 60,000 of his subscriptions, you know, had asked, and Darren Hardy said, "Listen, we don't do that. We don't play favoritisms, you know, with the people that we interview in for our magazine, but, you know, because they were responsible for so many subscriptions, said, okay, well, we'll do it, but only this one time." And then they wanted Sir Richard Branson to come and be a speaker, and they offered him $100,000 to come and speak, you know, at their event. So, you know, they contacted him, and, you know, he said no. And he says, really, you refused 100 grand? And so they said, okay, you know, offering 250,000. Okay, well, they went back and they offered 250, and, you know, Sir Richard Branson came back and said nope. And I said, what? I'll tell you what, we're going to send him one of our own private jets. It's going to pick him up. It's going to bring him here just to get off the plane and speak. It's going to put him in 50 minutes. It's going to put him right back on the airplane and take him right back to where he was at. It won't cost him a penny, and we will give him $500,000. The response from his office was, he has 3 focuses on which he's working right now, and speaking for any price is not part of what he's working on right now. Now, that is focus. That is not multitasking. He could have stopped doing whatever he was doing, flown from wherever he was flying somewhere, made $500,000 and be back, and got back to what he was doing. But that was not his focus. He was seriously engaged in whatever he was doing. That's one of the traits and one of the habits of superachievers have. They are focused in what they're doing. Now, I don't know if you agree with this man, with what he does, he teaches or not, but that is completely immaterial. What I see is a businessman that runs a multi-million-dollar corporation. Okay, and this man is an example of not multitasking if I have ever seen one. Well, one of the things that he does is he prepares. He recognized early on, you know, when he first took over the church after his father, that one of the things that was happening was that in some of the interviews that I heard with him, is that he was involved in everything. He was going to the stage, he was working on the lights, he was working on sound, he was working on editing, and the church came to a screeching halt. It wasn't growing no more. So he had to let go of some of those responsibilities and concentrate and find out what was that one thing that he was really, really good at. And that was delivering that keynote speech that he delivers on Sunday mornings. Those 22 minutes that he delivers on Sundays are the most important function that he does. So he delegated everything else. Now let me show you how determined he is. Wednesdays, he locks himself in his office. No phone, no email. And then he researches and he studies whatever it is that he is going to be teaching on the coming Sunday. So what he does is he reaches it. On Thursday, he writes it all down. On Friday, he memorizes it. Remember, there's no phone, there's no computer, no emails on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, he practices his delivery twice to 2 internal congregations, and then on Sundays, it's open to the public. There's cameras, action, let's go. Now, what does he do? Then he rests on Monday, and then Tuesday is open for all the business meetings. Actually, Monday also he does business meetings, he does interviews, he does everything else on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday he goes right back into lockdown mode. No phone, no computer, no multitasking. He is completely given to the task that he has to do and what he has to perform for those coming 22 minutes that he's got to deliver on Sunday morning. That, my friends, is focus. That is how we get to where we're going to get. We concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun rays do not burn until brought to a focus. That's what Alexander Bell said. All right? So structure. Schedule your time and protect your schedule. That is so important. If you say that you're going to do something at a particular period of time, one of the things that you want to do is you want to structure that time and you want to protect that schedule. Why? Because that your future depends on it. Now, what do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common? They both have exact same thing in common. They both hate doing that one thing that makes them successful. Now, even Steve Jobs, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you got to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. You have to pick carefully. Why does he say that? You know, he had hundreds of ideas. You know, when he left Pixar and he went back into Apple, one of the things that he realized in Pixar studios, and one of the things that Pixar became so fabulous, and they were working in Toy Story at the time, was that they were only working on one project at a time. They had many ideas, you know, and even at Apple, they had specific groups that were working on different ideas, but they were in lockdown modes, okay, because that was their project. He was working on a particular project and he focused on that project. Now, it took him 7 years. Okay. In the meantime, between him launching the iPod and the iPhone coming out, 7 years passed. And what he did in that time, he concentrated. Now, Motorola came out, Samsung came out, and all these different companies were coming and going. You know, the Blackberries and the increase, and you know, different Blackberries and this and that. And he was just, you know, the iPod, the mini iPod, and he stayed. In the meantime, they were working until they got the other thing done, and they got it done right. So they never deviated on what they were doing. So they had absolute complete focus. And in today's world, my friends, we need to be laser focused on your goals. We all have to. You have to, and I have to. Okay, so I'm as proud of what we do as I am of what we if we don't do as I am of what we do. That was Steve Jobs. You know, when he was asked, you know, what are the things that you're proud of? And he said, I'm proud of both, because you got to make a decision. Okay, so you know, one of the key words to success is no. You gotta learn to say no. You know, Warren Buffett was asked one time, you know, I mean, and he said, I get 100 different proposals come to my desk, you know, every year. Said, and it hurts me. And I say 99, I said no to 99 of them. Okay, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that they really successful people say no to almost everything. You know, can you imagine? And then he said, you know, I make a list. You know, and then I prioritize the list and I keep the one thing that is most important. I throw the other 99 out. And, you know, he said later on when I'm done with that one thing, I go back and I make another list. Very rarely does those 99 that I discarded the first time ever make it to the very first list again. You know, so that teaches you something, you know. Now, too many men are afraid of being fools. This is something that, you know, sometimes I got to do this because everybody else is doing it. You know, they're going to call you a fool for perhaps, you know, making a decision and saying, no, I'm going to go the other way and do it. Let them. Okay? Who's calling Henry Ford, you know, a fool today? Or, you know, Warren Buffett, or, you know, Steve Jobs, or Sir Richard Branson, you know, for being that focused on what they do. The third habit, and this is probably one of the hardest ones to master for everybody, is the morning habit. Okay? Remember what Bell said? Okay, concentrate on all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Yes. Prime time. You know what prime time is for an entrepreneur or a business person? It's 5 to 8 a.m. Now, some say 4. I'm still struggling to get to the 4. I'm at 5:30. I'm 5 to 5:30, you know, but I'm pretty good at getting up by 5:30, you know, but, you know, try to make to bed by midnight so that I can do that. And then one day a week, I just kind of crash and sleep till 7. Oh, my goodness, you know, but anyhow, this is prime time, 5 to 8. This is what you go to try to get to. The 5 a.m. club, structure and have a written plan. How do we work the written plan? We work the written plan very simple. You get up, you stretch, you know, you stretch for 8 minutes. That's how long it takes to make coffee. You go get your coffee going, you know, you stretch, you give thanks, you read, you know, for 30 minutes. This is another of the keys. I'm going to get to this in just a second. You wipe back and run for another 30. You review your goals, you plan your day, you send your emails, make notations on your plan. Now, think about this, and, you know, and I do it. I get up and I go back writing. I get back in, you know, I may finish my coffee, have a second cup, sit down, review my notes, take a shower. Start going through my notes. I got people that work for me at night in other countries, and again, we'll cover these on later on when we talk about VAs and one of the masterminds. But You know, so I start reviewing the notes because, you know, nighttime to them is my early morning. So they're giving me the reports of all the work they did during the day. So I'm reading that, and then I fire up the emails for the instructions for the upcoming day. And even in this country, you know, when I send all the emails out that go out early in the morning to everybody else, now I'm no longer in reactive mode. Okay, now everybody else is in reactive mode, because when they get to their office, say 9 o'clock, my day's pretty much done. You know, but when they get there, now they have to react to all the plans and all the emails and all the questions and all the tasks that have been assigned to them, and then they're working on that, and they report to me by the end of the day, right? So, you know, and here's the second one, and I alluded to this just a second ago. The person you will be in 5 years is based on the books you read and the people you surround yourself with. Okay, this is very, very important. This is one of the habits of super achievers. This is one that you need to master. Now, one of the things that I would recommend doing, and I've seen they do, and you know, so I am just kind of following the pattern of these successful people, is that they read for 30 minutes twice a day. 30 minutes. They get an app, they put a timer, not 35, not 40, but 30. They get a timer goes off and they stop. Some of them actually, you know, prefer to read business book summaries. You know, I get audiobooks and I listen to them when I'm biking, but this is what they do. They read for 30 minutes. 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night. You read for an hour a day total, but it's split into halves. Okay, so before you go to bed, you read something good, something positive. Your brain and your subconscious mind is going to, you know, work on that as you go to sleep. Nothing news, nothing negative, you know, nothing like this. You read something good and positive before you go to bed. Your subconscious will work on that. You're going to become much more energized when you get up in the morning. And the number one habit that all super achievers have, the one thing. What is that one thing? Okay, remember we talked about that. What do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common is that they do the one thing that they hate to do. Remember what Steve Jobs said, I'm as proud of what we do that don't do that I am as what we do. So what is that one thing that you do? What is that one thing that really is the one thing that you need to be focusing on? You know, like a real estate agent or a broker, there's 1,000 things that they could be doing. They could be out there, you know, looking at, you know, the reports and the bills and, you know, the zoning. All of those things can be delegated. There's only 3 things that a real estate agent can't do, that only he can do, that nobody else can do. Sign a contract, get a listing, okay, and even at the closing, he doesn't have to be present. So really, getting the listing, signing the contract are the, you know, 2 very most important things. Everything else can be delegated to somebody else. So what is that one thing that you do well? Okay, what is that one thing that only you can do? If you're in sales, you're the only person that can sell. But somebody else can write the contract. Somebody else can be there, you know, when the contract is being signed, and then you come in at the last minute and sign it. Dr. Oz, it's incredible. He's a heart surgeon. As incredible as this may sound, he, you know, he performs over 200 heart surgeries a year. People say, how does he do that? He writes books, he's on television and so forth, because what he does is so precise and so specific. You know, and there are hundreds of other functions that happen during heart surgery, but when he walks in to do that one thing that he does. That's the only thing he does. He doesn't suture, he doesn't open the patients, he doesn't do anything else but that one thing. He walks in, he does it, he walks out. Other doctors finish the surgery, you know, the anesthesiologist and everything else. He doesn't even do the bedside. Because he wasn't, you know, he was just the very specialist that came in to do that one thing. So I ask you, what is that one thing that only you can do in your business? What is that one thing that nobody else can? Okay, that is the one most productive thing that you need to be doing. If you're doing that one thing, and it's the one that's generating all your income, how much time a day are you dedicating to it? Because that's what's going to make the difference between where you're at today and where you're going to be at within 90 days. Okay, think about that. Okay, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the really successful people say no to almost everything. They focused on that one thing. So here, and you know, in short, here are 4 habits of super achievers. No multitasking. They get a head start on everybody else because they get up early and they're fully energized. Okay, they feed their brain twice a day with something positive, and they concentrate on their one thing. That's it. Their one thing. Nothing else gets on their way except for that one thing. And they're so focused on that that nothing deviates it from them. So how do they do it? They have a structure. They also have accountability. Let me ask you something. What would it be like if, you know, you could be held accountable to being able to carry on with all these 4 habits, and not be left on your own, you know, to your own devices, because you know what that's going to happen. You know, you're going to start today and tomorrow you quit. But what if you can be held accountable? What if, what would be possible if the people around you refuse you to let you fail? What if you said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up early, and I'm going to, read twice a day. I am going to focus on this one thing, and that's it. But, listen, we get pulled in every which way in every direction, by family, by friends, by acquaintances, by business, by the jobs, and every day. This happens to us every day. Happens to me, happens to everybody. How do we stay ourselves accountable? Okay, there's only one way, and it's actually talked about in Napoleon Hill, the Mastermind group, which is a small group of like-minded people who meet for mutual brainstorming and accountability sessions. You know that if you keep doing the same old thinking, you're going to have the same old results. That's not going to change one bit or another. Okay, so here I'm going to ask you to grab your hand. This is the rule of 5. Several things happen with the rule of 5. Now, one of the things is this. I want you to take your 5 closest friends. I want you to average their income, because yours is going to be right there. Okay, that is Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law actually also says that your income is always going to grow to catch up with your expenses. That's always going to happen. So unless you have a structured plan. Now, grab your closest 5 friends. Again, figure out their incomes, and yours is going to be their average. That never fails, okay? Because we all tend to gravitate to stay with people that we want. So if you want to change your future, if you want to change your income, you need to make some changes. And guess what? Deciding who your friends are is part of that. That's where we make the stretch. That's where we make the stretch, and we go into, a mastermind group. Okay, so I'm inviting you right now to join a 90-day leadership mastermind and accountability group. Okay, starting this coming Monday, January 18th at 9 p.m. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break this down into several areas. You're going to join the 5 a.m. club. That's part of what we're going to do. Okay, we join the 5 a.m. club. We're there in the mornings. You're going to have a structure, and a written plan. All of that's going to come to you. There's also some other bonuses, some other goodies that I haven't mentioned. Remember I talked about, my dogs, and why I have them. That's just going to be on a private mastermind group that we're going to talk. We're going to talk about income, so we're going to talk about taxes, and it's something that I've been teaching for 15 years, and successfully allowing a lot of entrepreneurs to do extremely well in that area. We'll talk about that privately. But, we're going to do the 21, irrefutable laws of leadership. I'm part of the John Maxwell leadership team, and we're going to go through 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. We're going to talk about Dick and Maurice, and the 2 young brothers that came out of New Haven, Connecticut, went to California. And we're going to talk about what was it that, prevented them from reaching the success that Ray was able to have with their idea. Because they had a great idea, but they got on the law number 1, which is the law of the lid. It kept Dick and Maurice from being able to reach to the next level, to get a little bit higher. So they were tapped out, as leaders. But Ray came in and he noticed what they had in their hands, and he says, "Hey guys, I can take it the rest of the way." And they said, "Please, because we can't." That was Dick and Maurice McDonald's, who sold the McDonald's, to Ray Kroc, and because they couldn't. They sold 15 franchises, 10 restaurants actually developed out of that. The other 5 didn't, and they couldn't grow anymore. But Ray Kroc saw the ability, and he had better leadership capabilities, and so he was a better leader. He was able to take McDonald's the rest of the way, and it is what it is today, and that's the law of the list, the law number 1. And we're going to go in very detail in what are the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and how can you apply them to your life? How do you recognize when you're missing something, and how do you balance that? Okay, I recognized in myself and my leadership and some of the things that I was doing that I could not do certain things, so I hired it out. I have virtual assistants in different parts of the country that do different things, and economically, it's totally feasible to do nowadays. And the communications and everything else that we do. So. And we'll expand a lot more in that in separate coaching sessions, and when we do masterminds, and how do you develop that? And once we're done with the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, you're going to get one of these coins. It's beautiful. They're probably, I think, like half an ounce each. The solid metal coins, and I'm personally going to send that to you so that you have it, because I carry mine in my pocket, and it's one of the things that we do if we meet each other on the street corner or something like that, or a coffee shop or supermarket. And where's your coin? If you don't have your coin in your pocket, you're buying coffee. All right, and that's it. We carry in our pocket because it reminds us, who we are and what is it that we're trying to do. So this is what a leadership mastermind and accountability group is. Okay, we have the leadership and accountability group, 145-minute private intro coaching session. We got 6 one-on-one 30 minutes bi-weekly coaching sessions in 90 days. We're going to work in strategic positioning statement workshops. Why? I see so many people fail at this. I see people, I see professionals, in meeting groups and so forth, and they're asked, what do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor. No, I did not ask you what your profession is. I asked you, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? I'm a dentist. Again, I did not ask about your profession. I asked, what do you do? Oh, I help people have beautiful smiles without pain. Oh, really? How do you do that? Bingo. Now you got it. Right, so we're going to work on this. This is it's an art and it's a science. We got some, so we got some workshops, we got some sheets. We work through them. We help you in the coaching session. So the next time that you approach, anywhere, okay, it doesn't matter. You could be, having your tires changed. Somebody asks, what do you do? You're going to have the exact perfect answer to give to that person that will elicit a question from them, either for a presentation if you're in the network marketing company or the business, or you're in sales. People are going to ask you, oh, really? Tell me more about that. So we're going to work on doing that. Okay, so again, we're going to have the weekly 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. We'll do that on Monday nights. That's part of our mastermind group. We're going to do some goal setting strategies. I'm going to show you how to use Evernote, which is a free tool to track your goals. We have a complete workshop on that. I believe that, there are some other people out there that actually are charging to people to show you how to do this. This is included as a bonus on this. And we got a Facebook private accountability group for the readings, where we keep track of our readings. I have some readings that are designed to be read in 30 minutes, interviews with some high super achievers that we're going to let you have, and then to be held accountable for the 5 a.m. club. One of the things that I do is I like to go bike riding, and I like to take a picture of myself, usually at sunrise on the top of the bridge when I'm crossing over here between Clearwater and Tampa. Okay, so what is this run? We normally run it for $19.97. Right now it's the January 2016 special, getting started. We have it for $9.97. You can join the group. This is the link that you want to go to. PayPal.me, go digital /go digital /997, and then you can be part of the group. You can be in here with us, and join the 90-day leadership mastermind and accountability group. Starts on Monday night, January the 18th at 9 p.m. We're going to have a very first of the sessions, and this is going to be the leadership. Then we're going to go through the first 3 laws of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Again, this is what we're going to do. What will be possible if people around you refuse to let you fail? What if you have somebody, a business coach, somebody that's been around before, somebody that, I don't know what business you're in, but if and it doesn't matter. Right now I coach with attorneys, I coach with several physicians, I got business people, I own a digital marketing company. So, I get a chance to talk with a lot of different people. I have one of the persons that I coach in right now, he has a really, really interesting story. He doesn't mind me telling it, because, we talk about it all the time. He came to this country and, looking for an opportunity 5 years ago. And, incredible enough, him coming in here as an immigrant 5 years ago, about 3 months he was in here, we talked to him one day and I asked him, how you doing? He says, man, I'm green. I said, what? I'm green. And he goes, what do you mean I'm green all over? I said, why? I said, dude, I'm living off avocados from my friend's tree. So, we went and got some groceries, took him over to him, the little apartment he was at. That was 3 months. After that, he started doing something, a little small business that he started on his own on the internet, and we guided him on a couple places that he could do, and he did $185,000 on his first 18 months in the United States. How was his sales? $185,000 in sales. Okay, and he cleared a little bit over 40% of that in income to himself. So that was incredible. That is what happens when you surround with people that will not let you fail. All right. Again, count those 5 people that are around you. Okay, if you know if your friends have the income that you want, you stay with your friends. If your friends don't have the lifestyle and they don't have the income that you want or that you deserve for what you have or what you know, folks, you got the wrong friend. You got the wrong friends. Honestly, you have to change friends. You don't have the right friends. Okay? And as painful as that may sound, they're keeping you. They're holding you back. Those friends are anchors. You need to get friends that are going to challenge you. You need to get friends that you're going to be able to say that you are proudest of what you don't do as what you do. Okay, so so you're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to have people that are gonna challenge you. You're gonna have people that that are gonna challenge you to get up in the morning, get up and get it done. Not always do we want to. I know that sometimes I go to bed a little later than usual, and I hate that ability to think that I have to get up early in the morning, and I still get up and do it. Okay, and I feel good afterwards. Okay, I'm fully energized and everything else. So I'm asking you. Take a leap of faith in yourself. Okay, join the 90-day leadership mastermind accountability group. Remember, it starts this coming Monday on January 18th at 9 p.m. And there's the link. The link has been down there for you all along on the bottom right hand corner. Go there and do it now, and let's get started. This is not one of those long-winded. You know what you need to do. I'm here to help you, and this is what you want to do. We can take it all the rest of the way. So the rest is all up to you. Now, I'm here for questions. If you got some questions, if not, this is it, folks. I mean, you want to change the rest of your life, remember, look at your friends, count them. Their average is where you're going to be. This is what we got, okay? This is the Leadership Accountability Group, 145-minute private intro coaching session. We're going to do this one. I'm going to shoot you some emails. You're going to get some questionnaires that you're going to fill out so that it can prepare you for that so we can get the most out of that time. You get 6 one-on-one 30-minute weekly coaching sessions. That means, it's a bi-weekly coaching session, but we're going to have some groups and some masterminds. We're going to work on the strategic positioning statement. This is a complete workshop that we do. A weekly 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. We're going to go through 3 laws every week. Okay, so that's going to go on for 7 weeks. Your goal setting strategies using Evernote to track your goals and your sub goals. And how do you do that? Every day, every morning, you're going to look at your goals, and you're always going to have something to be working on. So all your goals are going to get accomplished. And actually, we're going to break that down into 3 major goals and one specific one. And that's exactly where you want to be. And we're going to delegate and show you how to delegate everything else to somebody else so that you don't have to be wasting your time and doing petty stuff that you don't have to. I mean, I get emails from my clients, and a lot of times kind of like, really, this just gets forwarded to one of my VAs. So it's kind of like, I'm not dealing with that, but they come here, one of my assistants, and she'll email this guy, what are you going to do with this? I said, send it to so and so, and it's gone, boom, done. And then it comes back through our tracking software, project manager tracking software, and it's done. Especially the ones that work on the other side of the world. So when I get up in the morning, a lot of things are done for me to present to my clients. And, that's a beautiful way to work. I'm always trying to look for more work for them to do because they do it gratefully. They're thankful to have employment, and they appreciate receiving US dollars versus their own local currencies. And let me tell you, you get some great hands, for a lot less than we would pay for here. And they're very dedicated to what they do. So I'm dedicated to them and getting them more work. So anyhow, a Facebook private accountability group. This is where we're going to keep track of our readings. We're going to add the readings to here. I have a lot of them to share with you guys. And if you need help in your marketing, if you need help in anything like this, this is what I do. I have a marketing agency. This is how I've gotten to know a lot of these different strategies, different things, is because I work with entrepreneurs. I work with business people and on day in and day out, and I get to see that they get so focused on what they're doing on the everyday business that they lose that peripheral vision. They lose, and I come in with a clear vision. Hey, listen, I just saw this work in another business. Really, let's try it here. And I had a strategy that I proposed to a particular businessman, and for a year, I kept proposing, let's try this. Let's try it. He kept saying no, 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 no. The one day he said yes, he brought $100,000 in within 2 weeks. And I said, you know what? I'm not arguing you with no more. And I said, well, I'm glad to hear that, you know. So, I mean, to me, it was good. It was a shot in the arm. You know, I proposed something for, you know, for actually for an entire year. We had an annual review meeting, and he said, listen, we need to do this. He goes, okay, you've been hampering at that, insisting on that. I said, let's do it. And again, within 2 weeks, $100,000 walked into the business because of that one little strategy. And let me tell you something. It was like, I think it was a total expense of $50. Okay, so you know that's what I bring to the table. So let's get together. You know, make the decision. You know, come be part of our leadership group, and let's grow together. Folks, we've been here for 45 minutes. I tell you, this is going to be sweet and to the point. I'm not one of those that's going to spend a lot of long-winded time on an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3-hour webinar. This is what we have. I'm closing here. If you want to join us, you know, you do this, and I will be in touch with you, or my assistant will call you to schedule an appointment so that we can, and you get a couple of emails, some questionnaires, so that we can have a very first 45-minute coaching session. See you all soon.